not going to give up. On that same happy note, rates are going to go up. I don't know by how much. We're not done with looking at the budget yet, and we have embarked on a rate study that is in the middle of finishing up, depending on what budget scenario we go with. So our schedule is that a Prop 218, what that basically means is there was a proposition called 218 that is part of the California Constitution. It dictates how we set rates, how you're informed as a customer, how we set rates, what your rights are to those rates, and how you can participate in that rate setting. I'm not going to surprise you and tell you that everything's gone up. Surprise, everything's gone up. What I can tell you is capacity fees are designed for new people to pay for new development, and rates are designed for existing customers to pay for existing things like chemicals, like imported water costs, like existing labor, like that $100 million PFAS treatment plant that I get to build because somebody picked a number out of the air. So how we mitigate that is really important. So I'm hoping that next month I will have real numbers for you. And I may be in Washington, D.C. when that happens, and if that's the case, I'm going to send you a memo, Mayor, so that you can share what that information may look like if I have those numbers in time. So that's really the goal, so that you have information. The rain we have right now is very welcome. The lake will spill if it isn't spilling already. So if there's any indication that there is a quote-unquote drought, it'll be a regulatory drought, which means it's just by regulations we're not moving water, not by precipitation. One other thing is there's a lot of conversation about the price of eggs. Chickens are not permitted in the city of Canyon Lake. And I probably get tagged multiple times. I have a whole list of addresses, by the way, of potential farmers in our city that are raising chickens. And again, it's a drinking water reservoir. You made the choice when you moved here. If you'd like to raise chickens, there's other property around that might be suitable, but chickens are not permitted. So, yes?
Question, just so that there's clarity for the residents.
Yep.
Why does the drinking water reservoir factor into a decision related to chickens?
So, being that this is only one of 3 drinking water reservoirs in the state that allows body contact, we don't get quote-unquote special treatment. So the state water code and the Safe Drinking Water Act were designed to protect sources of drinking water. This is a source of drinking water, and yes, we treat it, but we don't treat it for all the different types of bacteria and viruses that come with farm animals. And each one takes a different type of treatment. So for bodies, human bodies, we treat for Cryptosporidium and Giardia. Isn't that fun for dinner conversation? And there's a very special treatment that we do just for that. It's very expensive, but it was treatment we were mandated to add once we allowed body contact and that law changed. When you start adding on all those different animals, and they don't all have the same bacteria, they don't all have the same treatment processes, that $100 million treatment plant just went to 150, plus chemical, plus discarded media, plus. So that's why.
And what would be the consequence of beyond cost?
Right.
If we just started
So
ignoring that.
one of the things that has happened lately is there's been a lot of you can't do anything to me conversation. And in the past, it's multi-layered here in Canyon Lake. So I believe you have a city ordinance that forbids farm animals, and that's one thing through code enforcement. The Property Owners Association, to meet the spirit of their agreement, their lease agreement, also has some consequence. We have the authority to do that. We have not actually exercised. That's going to change. And we don't fine at like $500. We start in the tens of thousands of dollars. So one of the things we also have the ability to do is to destroy animals, whether that be a dog, a chicken, a horse, whatever. Because you're not going to risk public health because you've decided you want to take your dog into the reservoir, or you want to have chickens and you just said, oh well. I don't know where the range of what the consequences are, but I can tell you that my board is getting tired of the "we don't care" attitude.
Another question. Would the state then do something?
Yes. So the state first will fine us as the water district, and we will then pass it along to you. What will happen is the state water board will be like, well, they don't care. We're going to ask the legislature to turn over the very special piece of legislation that Elsinore Valley went and got to have us access the drinking water reservoir with full body contact. And I don't know who would have the appetite to lobby for that, against that.
So if what I understand you to be saying is that we could lose our ability to go in the lake,
Correct.
which would, I'm sure, impact our
Everything.
housing prices and,
So people think I'm like, oh, I've heard, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, or it's no big deal, I do it all the time. I'm trying to be very proactive and prevent that from happening. The State Water Board is not friendly. They don't care that you won't be able to ski. So they would like nothing more than to take that away and then be able to fine us as the water agency for not taking care of it.
I think that's pretty clear.
Yep. Madam Mayor, can I ask our awesome director some questions?
Absolutely.
So on our agenda tonight, we are talking about South Coast air quality management and opposing some regulations that are coming out, which you know very well in this world. I know someone who serves on a water agency that I happen to be related to, and there's a topic that's going on right now, which is they have a working generator that maybe has maintenance hours on it that's equivalent to about $100,000, and the state is basically mandating them to no longer use that because it's not clean.
Correct.
So now the state of Arizona gets to purchase that piece of equipment for $15,000 on their $100,000 and use it perfectly in the state of Arizona. What's happening with that in your world? What are you hearing about all the new regulations? Because there were some rumors that Newsom was going to be like, we're going to not try to go as hard with the air quality issues, but from an agency standpoint, you guys have stuff out in the field and you need tools, and this is a big topic. This is an issue. This is a problem.
It's a huge issue, a huge problem, and a very expensive issue. So in this budget, we have a number of generators. So first things first, every pump station but one in our service area, and it's 100 square miles, has a standby generator on site. That was a huge investment over years, huge. Up until recently, we didn't have to exercise them very much, but to practice. But thank you, Southern California Edison, we use them all the time now.
Right. No pun intended.
It is what it is, right? I can't imagine if we just shut your water off randomly all the time and said, oh, sorry. That's one issue. The second issue is we also have to keep pressure in the system. So the same with the person you happen to be related to, you have to keep your system pressurized, and if you lose pressure, it's a whole thing you have to go through, and the State Water Board doesn't like that.
Right. So
you have air quality and the State Water Board not participating on the same page, different agendas, different itineraries, and pushing it. I will also say that Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, was very proud of their solar-powered generators that did not work in the recent fires.
Right.
They had to call Metropolitan Water District of Southern California to bring their combustible generators out so that they could actually use their pump stations. It's definitely a conversation. I will also tell you that it really is going to depend on who is appointed the Region 9 administrator of the EPA. Because the one thing about all of these regulations is there's federal money. And when that federal money goes away, it's funny how different things can change.
Right.
So there has to be pressure, I think, on both sides, both from the public saying we can't do this because we can't afford it. There has to be some light shown on what happened to Los Angeles when they didn't have what they needed in order to fight fires and keep things safe. I mean, I don't think the chief would like it if I said, oh, sorry, my hours are up, I can't turn the pump on. And from the federal side saying, what are you doing? So I think it's going to be a combination of things, but we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're buying new generators, and we get to sell them at pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Moving on. Very honored, Lake Elsinore Unified School District, Dr. Tricia Thompson. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Mayor Terry, and the rest of the City Council. Thank you so much for having me again. Dr. Lewis did want to say a huge thank you to you, Mayor Terry, for all your support of the Lake Elsinore Unified School District. So we're very excited to be here tonight. I have lots of things. I wrote it all down because we've got a lot of stuff going on. Again, my name is Dr. Tricia Thompson. I am over student support services for the Lake Elsinore Unified School District, which means I work with school safety and security, special education, mental health, and child welfare and attendance. So I do all the fun things other than reading and math. So that is what I get to do in my department. I have a great team that helps us, but a little bit about what we have going on. I did want to say a huge thank you to our speaker. Is it Gail? Yeah. Okay, from the LDS Church. Our team and I will be there on Sunday. We're very excited to celebrate our educators, so thank you so much for putting that on. And then nuts and bolts, a little bit about what's going on. So if you didn't already know, TK and Kinder enrollment has started. We're very excited. So if you know of any little people that will turn 4 after September 1st or 5 after September 1st, TK and Kinder, we are getting started. We cannot wait to load our classrooms with new kids. It is a fantastic time of year for that. We're also always hiring because we have kids coming in every year. We have lots of openings. So EdJoin is where you look for all the openings within Lake Elsinore Unified School District for all positions. So we're very excited about that. We wanted to give you an update. We've been doing a lot of different safety upgrades at our school sites. So one of that is many of our school sites you'll see in the front offices. We have vestibules. So there is glass partitions in our front offices to keep people from being able to access the front office unlawfully. So we're very excited that and many other safety upgrades in the last couple of years in our school sites. I have some huge celebrations too. We have many CIF winners that are coming up. So our TC girls cheer did amazing. Our Elsinore ladies water polo, I saw their final CIF game. It was on point. It was so awesome to watch. Lakeside boys and girls wrestling are doing really, really well, and they have CIF champions in there as well. So we're very excited for all those groups. Also, our science fair, we had double the number of students placed in the county science fair this year than any other year. So we have lots of kids doing really, really innovative things, and that's what we want. And we've hit an all-time record of responses from our community for our LCAP survey, which means civic engagement is up, which is what we all want. We all want people to be involved in what's happening. And so all of that to say, to wrap it up, summer's right around the corner. It's March, can you believe it? So we're getting in that time of year where the award season starts and we get to celebrate our students and staff. So we're very, very excited for that. Thank you so much for the support and for allowing us an opportunity to share with the citizens of Canyon Lake what we do in Lake Elsinore Unified. So thank you guys.
You know what I learned today from Dr. Lewis? You now have a program for children 3 and 4 years of age.
We do have
Can
several.
can you
Absolutely.
go into the reasoning behind that?
Yes.
And I think that also plays a part in the pre-K, correct?
Yes. So we do have many different preschool programs for our 3-year-olds. For our 4-year-olds, transitional kindergarten is now for the entire year. Every year they've added a couple months at a time, but now every student has the opportunity to do a TK, transitional kindergarten, and a K, kindergarten program, which is really, really, really good because in that TK and K years, that's where you get your socialization, you learn how to stand in line and make friends with people and listen to an adult. We've all have children, or some of us have children, so you know that. Those are those years where we get to teach some of those skills so that when they start getting there, when they have those skills, we can work on the academics as well. So we're very, very excited. All of our schools have TK programs, and we are ready to pack those programs with students. So.
And you explained it. Part of the idea is to transition them, teach them, this is how you go to school.
Correct.
These are the things we do.
Correct.
And, I know that when, I went to kindergarten, we took naps. That's no longer the case.
There is no naps, there is learning.
See, I would never make it in today's world. So.
Yeah, and we do have, I want to put one more thing, we do have our ELOP program, which is our before and after school care for those working parents as well at most of our school sites to support those parents that do need to leave early and don't get home till late. So, and it supports those transitional kindergarten and kindergarten programs. So,
Any other questions from council?
Awesome job.
nice to meet you guys.
I look forward to having someone
Yes,
from the district
yes.
here every month. Thank you very much
Absolutely.
for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Now on to public safety updates from the City of Canyon Lake Code Enforcement. Ruby?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff. I'll be reporting for the month of February. We had 3 MPDS violations, nothing too serious, just had to do with lack of BMPs on construction sites, and that was taken care of immediately. BLM, only 2 verbal warnings were issued, but one of the issues that I have been seeing a lot in the last probably about 3 months is a lot of illegal dumping out there. We have a lot of areas, piles of it, so I'm working with our crew, taking pictures and pinpointing all the areas to see if they can even get to some of these areas. We'll figure it out, but we're gonna get that area cleaned up, but it has been pretty bad. Down to our residential rentals, we have a total of 351. 6 new unregistered properties were found and notices were sent out. No actually 2 short-term rentals were found. They still have not complied. We send out notices, and so we're hoping to get that back within the next week or so, some kind of compliance, and we'll reach out again. Down to our business license, we have a total of 15 new registered licenses. 32 renewals were completed. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today.
Any questions, council? Thank you, Ruby. From the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Jeff Reese.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. So I just wanted to hit on a big operation that we had on February 28th. We had a DUI checkpoint on Railroad Canyon and Sorrel Road. That operation was funded by a grant from our traffic team. The operation ran from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. In total, 1,195 cars were screened. 13 citations were issued for unlicensed drivers. 1 citation was issued for a suspended license. 4 DUI arrests. 7 vehicles were towed. And 23 additional vehicle-related citations were issued. So, pretty fruitful operation.
Any comments or any questions, excuse me?
Lieutenant, I got one question for you. How many golf carts were pulled over?
That's a great question. I don't believe any were pulled over.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Now from the City of Canyon Lake Fire Department, Chief Latendress.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, city staff, Jeff Latendress, your fire chief, and I'm here to present our monthly report for the month of February.
Madam Clerk, are there any public comments on consent calendar items?
Mayor, there are not.
Excellent. Okay, we will move on to committee and council reports and comments. Anyone would like to, we'll start here at the end.
Don't worry, Dale, I'm going to give you most of my time anyways. You can take over. Busy month for everyone, and last time I was up here, I gave a report on RCTC. We had our workshop. We had that last month, 2 weeks ago now, in the city of Temecula, and Karen Spiegel's our chair at RCTC, and it was really good. One of the big things that we're starting to look at is be creative with transportation in Riverside County. So there's a program that we're implementing in the city of Temecula and the city of Banning and Beaumont of smart metering. So what's going to happen is now when you go down the freeway and you see just a buildup of cars on off ramps, they're going to start turning the lights green to get those cars off to help take care of some of the traffic issues that we have. What a lot of people don't know is our regional agency here in Riverside County, it's a constant battle with Caltrans. We're always trying to fight on trying to ways and improve transportation, so it's a constant battle, but we're finding up new creative solutions. Today was a busy day. We had an RCTC meeting and also a city selection committee meeting that I stepped in for our mayor, selecting certain council members throughout the region to serve on county boards. I was unable to attend what I wanted to attend, but Dale Welty can tell us all about it. So tell us what you did today.
Thank you. Today I attended the ribbon cutting for Omeo. And basically what Omeo is going to do, it's going to provide a self-driving transportation system in the city of Riverside. I don't think it's the whole city initially, but one of the problems is our transportation system doesn't connect too well to certain things. So I believe this will be kind of a last mile effort, so that if you can get the train into Riverside, then you can go ahead and get around to the different buildings down in downtown Riverside without having to walk in their lane or walk on your bicycle. We're excited. They've opened their office here. They're not only going to serve Riverside, they're looking to serve most of the nation through this program. So they're starting here. We recruited them, and so the city of Riverside made a big effort to recruit them, so we're excited. So hopefully that'll all happen. Again, I've ridden our buses, I've ridden our trains. They're all wonderful, but a lot of times they don't take me where I necessarily want to go. We'll forever need to go ahead and make improvements, and to me, this is a big one. It's kind of that last mile option. Okay, just to note, last year one of my son's teacher got the Crystal Apple Award, so of course my wife had to go and we had to join in, and when she found out about the Crystal Apple, I think it's this Sunday, she put it on my calendar and said, be ready and in the car and ready to go, because we're going down. So that's going to happen. Thank you for your efforts. I mean, recognizing teachers is a huge thing, so. I attended RCA, and we approved a permanent easement for a walking trail in Lake Elsinore. I believe it's a continuation of the levee trail they already have, so that we'll have more walking trails down in Lake Elsinore. So that was a good thing. I went to Southwest Riverside Higher Education Coalition, and MSJC's holding a gala on April 18th. So it's down in Pechanga. Should be a great event. So those school programs that are interested, whether you're with this district or you're with the union, teachers union, or teach yourself, just want you to be aware. So please, if you can, that would be great if you attended. And that's about all. So we had an interesting month. I want to thank everyone who, my mother-in-law passed away. I want to thank everyone who sent flowers and candy and helped us through the process of the funeral. So my wife's totally appreciated. That will be all.
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't have too much to add. I am excited, I think, along with yourself, about Memorial Day coming
Yes.
and our annual flag placement.
Yes.
It's a big deal in Canyon Lake because we have a reputation to uphold as the most patriotic city in America.
We don't even have to try hard.
Well, and always would be remiss if we didn't remind the community that that was the brainchild of former Councilwoman Dane.
Absolutely.
So
We need volunteers, do we not?
we need volunteers, and those volunteers, if they are students, get community service hours.
That is correct.
So that's amazing.
How do you get involved?
Well, you contact Maddie with the city, and we put a video out that's coming soon, and it will have that contact information, but you can go to the city and not only volunteer to place the flags in every house, lot, causeway, happy camp, fire station, but you can tie our city ribbons on the flags. So if you don't want to trek around the city, we have projects for you here.
Lots of ways to participate.
It's a big deal for us.
Yeah. And if you haven't involved yourself with this event, I'll tell you what, it is pretty awesome. You get about 20 to 30 homes that you have to cover. You go to each one of the homes and you place the flag in the front yard, and it is truly patriotic, and it's an incredible event, and I encourage you as a resident to get involved.
And personally, both of my children have participated each year, and it's a way to involve your children in the community. It's really, really special.
Absolutely.
So that's it.
Councilmember Stieber.
I myself also had a very busy month under the Southwest Community Finance Authority, JPA, which is also Animal Friends of the Valley. We only have I'm the delegate for the city, but we only have a couple meetings a year. I didn't want to wait till then, so one of our great citizens, Monica Lyons, and we scheduled a tour of the facility back at middle of February, actually. We were greeted by Chief Middleton, the Executive Director and Chief Animal Control Officer, and also Connor Wilson, the Events Coordinator. Director of Development, Beth, and I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm not even going to try. So Beth S. Unfortunately couldn't meet with us, but did follow up with me for some of my requests. One of the outcomes I got out of there is they offer to help us go after grants. You know, at the end of the day, they want to be able to host events and clinics and have different partnerships, and they can help write them on behalf, and then we could turn around and use that money back towards those clinics. It's a win. They've also asked another question with the POA, and I was able to push that in. The animal control really wants to do a dog walk in the parade and even hold a adoption clinic at one of the parks as well. Great news. I'm not going to really touch about it too much, but our infamous duck lady, I was able to call in on Chief Middleton just to see what is the status going on with there. And as animal control is very familiar with her, unfortunately, she's not doing anything illegal in our city, but we did provide guidance. The animal control is also willing to step in and provide guidance to the POA to help minimize that. But the JPA is great, and there are lots of animals, cats and dogs that are always willing to be adopted, and again, hope to see an adoption clinic sooner than later within our city. Or, and I apologize, we'll also be starting to advertise through marketing, hopefully, on our website on different clinics that they're hosting at the foundation, and we can direct our citizens there.
That's great.
Next, I got to attend Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center, their first annual meeting. They're 24 years old, and out of 24 years, they finally got to have their first annual meeting. That was hosted at the City of Temecula City Hall. And one thing I've learned, two things I've learned, not only do we serve, in 2024, we served over 4,130 individuals. What's scary is it's growing 20% year over year. And I did ask how many from Canyon Lake. They're starting to collect their data and analytics, so they can't go back in the last 24 years and really find us all. But they were sure to let us know that we currently have 16 from the city of Canyon Lake that are getting free services right now through that foundation. With that said, we also, with Michelle's Place and City Canyon Lake, the POA and Mermaids Clubs, and a lot of other community members. We all attended the second annual Hope Lights the Nights, which was a Luminari event that was held this past Sunday at Holiday Harbor. Superior speech you did, Mr. Mayor. You know, I'm gonna keep bragging about you and keep you in the spotlight. But from the call I received after your speech, they agreed to your 25-year lease to keep having that event. And also, we're looking to get our Quilters of Valors here in our community some more fabric to help do some initiatives with Michelle's Place as well. So that wrapped up Michelle's. I had the privilege of participating at Independent Cities Association in Santa Barbara towards the beginning of March. As you and I got to attend another meeting, you know, we're seeing more and more diverse cities with the same challenges. And I got to sit in a few sessions listening to what those challenges are, but what are those unique and strategic ideas that they're combating different ways for public safety. So it's not
Similar
like
type populations?
similar type population. Again, they are diverse, so a lot through Los Angeles County, a couple through Santa Barbara, or San Bernardino County that attended. But great thing is it's not the only one. There's other events that they have asked me to kindly come back and keep listening, and maybe one day we'll weigh our options, but like to hear what everyone else has got going on in their areas. As Ernesto stated, and great seeing you again, I got to attend Canyon Lake Chamber of Commerce Business Roundtable. I was greeted by the Chamber Board and Chamber members, but also Southern California Edison. They did an economic development update. You know, with our local chamber, there's a lot of great meetings coming up this year that our community should attend. And, you know, I know John would have said it if he was here, but if you're not a chamber member, even me personally, I advise you to sign up. We're starting just from that business roundtable. We had a lot of first-time members to that chamber event that were from outside cities. So that was kind of great to see people coming from Menifee, Murrieta, Temecula joining our small but still great chamber event. And last to end, I got to attend the Family Matters Club 5th Annual Lucky Duck Derby. That was held over the weekend at the Lodge Pool. It was a fun event, kind of to also kick off the spring, but shout out to Sandy Gear. She was the Grand Marshal, and then with me being there at the city, her and I was the co-Grand Marshal, but we kind of kicked it off by throwing all the ducks in the pool and waited the 5 minutes till they floated to the other side. But great experience with Family Matters Club, same thing. They let me know about all their great events coming up this year, and they look for our community to get more involved with their club. But that includes my updates for the month.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Stever. Okay, so Councilmember Smith touched on it briefly. The proposed amended rules for the Southern California Air Quality Management, rules 1111, correct? And 1112 and 1121, excuse me. And what are these rules? Well, the state, if they have their way, would like to eliminate any gas appliances. And you spoke on a much more higher level than what I'm going to speak to today, but targeting residential gas-fired furnaces, which would then ban the sale of new non-compliant units after 2026. It doesn't sound like a big deal, and here in Canyon Lake, we're already all electric, correct? But sometimes the decisions that we make on a regional basis have to be on behalf of the region. And when you think of what it would take, for example, I have a gas, let's say, water heater, which is also 1121, which they're going to ban gas water heaters. Not a big deal, you may say, but if you live in a community and that water heater is gas and that goes out, after 2026, you're going to have to not only buy an electric water heater, but then you're going to have to actually run electric to that area. So it's one thing for the water heater, but then it's an additional cost to actually operate it. Same with a gas oven. If you have a gas oven and you don't have power at that particular location, you are then going to have to hire an electrician to run the power. And the fact is, there are families in our region who cannot afford that. More importantly, the state wants to mandate. They don't want to work with you. And I was very, very proud on behalf of WRCOG that we voted to oppose both rules 1111 and 1121. Often, and I've had this comment on a couple occasions, I just want to hear about Canyon Lake stuff. Well, what happens on a state level ends up happening on a county level and ends up trickling down to a city level. So it's very important that you pay attention to what they're doing in Sacramento, and always remember it's going to have an impact on you eventually. And at the end of the day, you build a new home, you retrofit it to these rules, guess who pays for it? The builder doesn't pay for it, you pay for it. And so we escalate costs to the point where we can no longer afford simple living. And there are those, I touched on this, and I'll finish this off. You always have to keep in mind you may be able to afford it, but there are thousands and thousands of people in Riverside County who this is detrimental to their health. Make sense? I was honored to speak at the Hope of Lights, correct?
Hope lights the night.
Hope Lights the Night, for a very, very important organization in our community, and that being Michelle's Place. And I talked to Councilmember Stieber. I'm begging him to come back next year. Afterwards, I had an opportunity to meet 3 Canyon Lake residents. One who was going through chemo, one who had just stopped their chemo treatments, and one who had just been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I was able to spend time with each of them, and the impact it has had on me, I will never forget that. And so it's something that I have grown to have a passion for. I thank you for the invitation. I look forward not only to visiting Michelle's Place, but supporting their cause and encouraging our residents to investigate. If you can donate, volunteer your time, it would be greatly appreciated. I also attended, how many people are familiar with Center Church? So Center Church used to hold their services at Holiday Harbor. And Pastor Thor Ramsey, who spoke at the Michelle's Place event. Imagine the challenges of conducting a church outside in February or in July. So it's 110 out, and you got to kind of hurry it up and try to stay in the shade. They have a new home. It's in Menifee, and they invited me to attend. And I tell you what, it was a great morning of worship. But more importantly, it's really neat to see Canyon Lake residents who started here locally, who really, it's not easy to hold a church service outside. And I was very happy to be invited and to attend. Beginning on Monday, it's an idea that Councilmember Smith and I discussed a couple months ago, and it's coming to fruition. It's called the Diplomatic Cruise. And on Monday, Mayor Pro Tem Castillo and I will be hosting the mayor of Wildomar. We're going to take him out on our lake, on our boat. And I think it is very important. The more, the more time that you end up serving, the more you realize that you need to have those relationships with your neighboring cities. And you realize very quickly, even though that city is right next to me, I have no relationship with them. And I think there's a lot of ways that we can cooperate together on the benefit of not only our own cities, but on a regional basis. And I'm looking forward to Monday, and we're going to try to do this, Councilmember Smith, on a monthly basis. Yep, if weather allows. Crystal Apple Awards. I attended 2 years ago. It is a great event, and in most cases, you have, as Councilmember Stieber will tell you, you're honoring the students. And this is such a great event that the students, in turn, are honoring the teachers. And that'll be this Sunday evening. If you've never gone, I encourage you to go. It's a great event. And the students, if I understand this correctly, are putting the entire event on.
Yes, they are.
It is a great event. This morning,
Shadow leadership.
Shadow Leadership.
Yeah, we have someone in the background in case there's any questions that came up, but the students really, they write the speeches, they do the decorating, they volunteer.
I'm looking forward to attend. Lake Elsinore Chamber of Commerce breakfast. I attended today with my good friend, Director Burke. We got to hear from the Lake Elsinore Unified School District, and Dr. Lewis is doing a great job, and once again, I encourage our residents to look into what they are doing. And that concludes my comments, and I thank you for your time. On to the consent calendar. Any council members, would you like to pull a consent calendar item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 2, claims and demands. I was going to pull item number 5, but you so elegantly told the
I'm sure you would have done it.
opposed Southwest Coast Area Quality Management to go pound sand, so I will leave that one as is. So just item 2, please. And if that's, if there's no one else that wants to pull anything, I'll make the motion that we move forward with the consent calendar without item 2.
Second.
We need a roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber?
Aye.
Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Terry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So would we begin with consent item number 2? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple questions for our chief and for Mike, if you don't mind. I miss hanging out with you guys in finance. It's been a while, so I figure, hey, let's have a discussion like we used to in the old days, right? I ask this all the time, Mike, and I'm going to ask it again because it's been a few years. Has there been any conversation with joining the POA for janitorial services? I know that we have a fee on there for $1,500. Has there been any conversation of that?
There hasn't, no.
What's that?
There hasn't, no.
Okay. Just wondering if we're still bridging that gap or not, because I know they're paying a company to do the same thing that we're doing too. So,
Yeah, we've never really discussed that before that I remember, but was that something that you had asked before for us
yeah,
to look into?
years back we looked at it and it was a different time. I think either they had different hours or something. So I don't know, maybe there's something that we can do there, that we can have a conversation with them on cleaning services for our buildings that are literally sharing the same walls.
Yeah, I'll double check. I think their services are probably operations, but I don't see why maybe they wouldn't want to include us in that. But so let me look into it. Right now, we're actually looking to do a service agreement right now with their current services. So right now might be the opportunity that we can look at it if we need to.
Perfect. And then Railroad Canyon, I know AB Fence, we just dropped about 12 grand on that. Was that part of that grant funding that we received?
The Gravy Fence?
Yeah.
So that charge that you see there was for the motorcycle incident that occurred in January.
Insurance deal then?
Yes, hopefully, yes.
Hopefully when the
Yeah.
check comes back, we're hoping?
Yes.
Okay. And then, Chief, I know that we just started our fire lease payments on our new engine. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. The two lease payments that you see there are for existing apparatus that were ordered in 2021, delivered in 2022. We've taken, we've completed, I believe, 3 annual lease payments to them. The engine is a 10-year lease. The patrol is a 7-year lease. Our new engine has been ordered, and we're not expecting delivery till 2027, and the first payment won't be due until 2028.
When do we release our backup engine then, at the moment we receive that new rig? And
It has not been discussed yet on what we're going to do with it when we get the new engine.
Okay, so there's been no conversations about what to do with that one yet?
There has been no conversations with the city manager and I on what we want to do with that engine.
Perfect. Mike, I got one for you too. I know that on claims and demands, so the city attorney doesn't get upset with me in this conversation, is CR&R. I've had conversations with CR&R in regards to our community day, and they're all on board and looking at providing free BART to the community, just so you're aware.
For our cleanup event?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. That's it. I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for letting me pull the item and have questions with our staff. With that, I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to move it forward unless anyone else wants to discuss claims and demands.
I will second it. Madam Clerk, do we take another roll call vote?
Yes, please. Mayor Pro Tem Castillo? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber?
Aye.
Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Terry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to item number 6. It is 7:36, and we are now open to a public hearing. We have a presentation from our city manager, Aaron Brown.
We do indeed, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. First, I'd like to kind of update you on, I'm going to make sure I get this right, AB 2561, that requires us to give an opportunity to any organized labor, bargaining units, associations, or unions to be able to come up to the council and speak. So at this time, I believe Chico Sanchez will be speaking for our local firefighters association.
Good evening. Hello, Mr. Mayor, Pro Temp, City Council, and City staff. My name is Chico Sanchez, and I am standing in front of you tonight representing the Canyon Lake Firefighters Association regarding Assembly Bill 2561. First, we would like to express our sincere gratitude for your unwavering commitment and dedication to ensuring the safety of our city, its residents, businesses, and visitors. We would like to also acknowledge the positive and collaborative relationship that has existed between the association and the city for the past several years. Working together, we have been able to make mutually beneficial changes that have long-lasting impacts on the public safety of the city, and we look forward to continuing that relationship in the future. During recent turnovers and vacancies last year, we were able to work together to come up with an effective solution to ensure the continued delivery of public safety to the city without interruptions. During our recent successful negotiations, this mutually beneficial partnership facilitated the development of mutually agreeable terms, contributing to the continuous expansion of the departments and the city's success. Despite the positive aspects, a persistent challenge remains in securing a sustainable revenue source to guarantee future retention and growth. In the event that retention becomes a concern, measures should be implemented to attract and retain qualified and experienced employees. During the recent election cycle, the Canyon Lake Firefighters Association recognized the paramount importance of securing future funding to ensure ongoing public safety. Consequently, we endorsed the proposed Measure Z tax initiative. Regrettably, the measure was unsuccessful by 25 votes. This outcome underscores the urgency of the situation. The Canyon Lake Firefighter Association urges and supports this council to continue working diligently to make progress and explore alternative revenue sources that are urgently needed. In closing, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all of our dedicated efforts and steadfast commitment to the city and the Canyon Lake Firefighters Association. Our appreciation extends from this council to the city manager and the fire chief. Together, we will continue to make Canyon Lake a little bit of paradise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions from staff?
From staff or to staff?
To staff. Yes.
Aaron, please enlighten me. What is this thing?
Absolutely. So, effective January 1st, 2025, Assembly Bill 2561, or AB, enacted that requires some things of the city. One of those is that all public agencies will present an annual report on employee vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts. We'll be doing that. But the other part of it is that it is required to give, as I said, the organized labor, bargaining units, associations, or unions the opportunity to present. They can decline that and say we would not like to present, or they have an opportunity to come up and speak to the council.
Just for education, for my colleagues and those that are listening to this meeting, you know, the purpose of this is, at least I think, because I don't understand anything that the state legislature does in Sacramento, unfortunately. But I would assume that this gives an opportunity where now in every city in California, there's a placeholder at which a time and place where now there's an opportunity to come speak publicly, when usually these dealings are done behind closed doors.
That is correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
That is an assumption, I should say.
Okay.
Correct.
That'd be a pretty good assumption.
I also would hate to try to understand the motivation of many of these things, because it's rare that the motivation is as it appears. But I would assume that as well.
Yeah, just wanted to make clear. Thank you. No further questions, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions?
Okay, I can move on to our part now. Thank you very much, Chico.
Good job, Chico.
As discussed, we're required as a public agency to present an annual report on employee vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts at a public hearing before adopting the final budget. We will not be adopting the final budget until council votes in it, hopefully in May. We'll be bringing it to you next month as a draft, and then in May, hopefully as a final. This aims to address persistent job vacancies affecting public service delivery and employee morale. I just want to kind of make the comment that we don't see a lot of vacancies in this city, and I walk about the city quite a bit, and morale is pretty high as well. So that has a lot to do with our council, but we will happily play the state game. I'll go into our presentation, because we have a lot that we have packed in here. So again, California AB 2561, dealing with employee vacancies, recruitment, and retention. The purpose is to improve public service delivery and employee morale. As Councilmember Smith said, there may be some additional motives in that. This report will outline the city's staffing status and recruitment efforts since July 1st of 2024. As of July 1st, 2024, our non-safety employee positions, 12 full-time, 2 part-time, no current vacancies. Recruitments include hiring a permanent city manager. I know him, very handsome man. Safety employee positions, 11 full-time, plus paid call-in reserve firefighters, no current full-time vacancies. Recruitments include hiring 1 battalion chief, 1 engineer paramedic, and 1 firefighter To stay competitive, the city continually evaluates and enhances salaries, benefits, and workplace conditions. Recent efforts include updating our employee benefits, such as administrative time and cell phone internet allowances, centralized staff in the remodeled City Hall to optimize workplace efficiency, investments in technology to improve operations and services, expanded recruitment efforts through job posting on the city's website, social media, and job boards. In addition to this, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, we are recommending some organizational changes. This fit right alongside this request. This is to align roles and improve operational efficiency. The following organization changes are recommended effective March 23rd, 2025. That would be reclassification of part-time senior administrative assistant to part-time business license technician. There's no change in pay here. It just really is an alignment with what that individual does. And instead of a general title, a title that is more appropriate to what they do. Accountant to HR specialist to administrative services senior analyst. Once again, this is the same boat, no change in pay. This is just changing an alignment. Senior administrative assistant to community engagement coordinator. There would be a change in pay in this one. This community engagement coordinator is realistically right now acting out of class and is working in a position where they are liaisoning with all of our businesses, the public, and council alike. We're just looking to correct that. Executive assistant, accounting technician 1 to accounting specialist. No pay changes there, just an alignment. Executive assistant / analyst to executive assistant to the city manager. There will be a slight pay increase in this one. This is frankly the most selfish item I am requesting. This is providing me with an executive assistant where in the past I have just kind of shared that amongst everybody, or that's frankly what I spent my nights doing. New positions, office assistant, 2 positions, and eliminating positions of a part-time senior administrative assistant and a management analyst 1. With all of this alignment, we would be looking at a fiscal year 25-26 budget savings of approximately $20,500. And this really, we evaluated as a whole what everybody was doing and tried to build very discernible lanes and just make our government more efficient, more effective, and this was the best way we could streamline those services. And we're very proud of the fact that this ends up saving money to the budget. And with that, in accordance with AB 2561, Canyon Lane Fire Association, as recognized employee, will provide a presentation. They did that in the beginning, so we could knock that out. Definitely wanted the focus to be on our Firefighters Association and not on your city managers traveling about these items. With that, that concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate, Chico, everything that you said. Exciting for those of us that get to serve our community, but for the residents, Canyon Lake has some pretty awesome staff. We have an incredible, group of folks that work here at City Hall, and I've had the pleasure over the years to get to know these folks, and it's tough decisions that our city manager has to make to constantly balance the budget, but more importantly, to try to have a way of retention, and that's the difficult thing when it comes to government, is that retention component. And I just want to say thank you for, Casey and I, we've gone back and forth with, former leadership on what salaries should look like, because we're such a small city, and how things should operate. And it's been extremely refreshing as we celebrate pretty much your year anniversary here with us at Canyon Lake, that you came in and looked at everything, and you didn't come in and just start kicking rocks. You came in and you said, let's do this, let's make this better. So I just want to say I appreciate it. And looking at the books, for me being a fiscal conservative financially, it is so crucial that we continue to try to save money the most we can. I think you're finding ways to do that even with our staff. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have a line of folks leaving the city. You have people who are staying here and who want to work here, and I think we got to continue to create a good work environment, but also take care of our folks, and I think you're doing that. So I'm fully in support, and I thank our fire department and our association. You guys really stepped up. You saw a need at a time, and like you said, that thing was so close to passing. It was a little messy, and I think it's different now. People see the importance of public safety and what the association is doing and what the department's doing, and I think we made the right decision on starting our own fire department here in Canyon Lake. I do believe that you guys have the highest approving rating ever. So I just want to say thank you for those words, and thank you for stepping up, and you did a great job, Chico. So,
Mr. Mayor, can I also add to that?
Yes.
I also wanted to thank you for your words. It's never easy to ask the citizens to approve a tax measure which comes out of their pockets, but so often we don't really analyze the value add that we have received from our own fire department and the services that you offer, but not just the services, but the community connection. Our residents know you by name, and you know them, and the total makeover of the fire station, which is really your home, it's just night and day from the way it was previously. And when we ask people to come to Canyon Lake, we do know that we have competition with other agencies that may pay differently, but we hope that we're able to offer something a little more special and unique, because we are smaller and we have different, not just different, I think, priorities, but also the ability to kind of offer something that seems to be more personal. And the failure of the tax measure is hard when you realize that so many of the community members did understand how important it is to retain good people. Not just good people, but skilled people, right? And we know that some of our staff we're kind of an incubator, but we're also a place where people have worked somewhere else maybe want to finish out their career strong. And so I love that about us, and I want to make sure that you understand that we're going to continue to support the Canyon Lake Fire Department every step of the way.
and I'm sorry, I got to say this because you brought it up, Councilwoman Castillo, but I don't think it was a failure because this community spoke loud and clear how badly they want to continue to support law enforcement. They just didn't want that marijuana crap that was on it. And so, you said it in your report that we need to continue to find ways to fund public safety, and I know that we're going to be having some serious conversations as a council to do that. But I'm just grateful that the association stepped up, and even though that thing was so messy, being a citizens initiative and not an official ask of the community for public safety dollars, I bet you it'll be different next time. So I just want to say thank you.
You have anything? I would add, thank you very much, Chico. The job that your entire organization does for our community is tremendous. The engagement is through the roof, and that has a lot to do with your leadership, Chief's leadership. The fact that our residents know your name, more importantly, the fact that you know their name is truly unique, I think, and we're very, very blessed to have you. We're very blessed to have this department, and thank you very, very much. I would also say and remind Councilmember Smith, a year ago, I think we had lunch with our staff, In-N-Out Burgers, is that correct? First time that it was City Manager Brown's first day, which was a year ago. And
We don't just break bread here, we break burgers.
we bring In-N-Out Burgers, not a burger, it's an In-N-Out Burger. But if you recall that lunch, our staff was there, and I think we sent a message to our staff that you are part of this team. You are not somebody who just sits at a desk unrecognized. I had a discussion with our city clerk, and I wanted her to know just how appreciative we are of everything that you do. You work hard, you do so with a smile on your face. without you, we are not able to accomplish big things. And here in Canyon Lake, we don't tackle little things, we go after big things. And I think it's very important that our entire staff knows how appreciated they are by this entire council. And I don't want to speak for the council, but I think they would entirely agree. And we need to have another In-N-Out lunch, the 1-year anniversary of Aaron Brown. Madam,
It's actually already on the calendar, Mayor.
is it?
The city clerk sent that out for us today, that there will be a staff lunch right before the next meeting.
Yeah, I think we have a great council, but I think we have even a better staff, and we love them very, very much. Madam Clerk, haven't we just been doing testimony by proponents?
Does not appear we have any.
Testimony by opponents?
See, probably don't have any.
Response by proponents?
No response.
Good. Okay, it is 7:55, and the public hearing is now closed. Is there any other additional discussion on behalf of City Council? With that, I need a motion and a second to adopt Resolution Number 2025-11, approving the salary and wage schedule for non-safety employees.
I can expand on that motion.
Expand on my motion?
Uh,
Or you want to substitute my motion?
I would like to, City Clerk, did we cover all the issues? It looks like we needed to receive and file a report. We need to approve job classifications, and we need to adopt the resolution. Is that what we're being asked to do?
Yes, that would be
So the
great.
motion
Thank you.
involves all three pieces. So I want to amend the motion to approve all three pieces, which is receive and file the annual report on employee vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts as required by AB 2561. And I'd like to make a motion to approve job descriptions for reclassification and new positions. And I'd like to adopt resolution number 2025-11, approving salary and wage scale schedule for non-safety employees.
Thank you, Councilmember.
I'll second.
City Clerk, conduct a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo,
The Finance Committee likes this. So, yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber,
Aye.
Councilmember Welty.
Aye.
And Mayor Terry.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, it is now 7:57. We're moving on to item number 7, and the public hearing is now open. We have a presentation from our Community Development Director, Mike Borja.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Tonight, staff is bringing forward a resolution authorizing the allocation of fiscal year 25-26 Community Development Block Grants, also known as CDBG. As you all are aware, every year, the Riverside County Housing and Workforce Solutions Department allocates fundings to municipalities for low-income programs. This year, we brought that forward to council at the January meeting. On January 9th, 2025, city staff issued a public notice calling for nonprofits agencies to submit applications for a 15% allocation that was set aside from the allocation for their low-income programs. Applications were due by Monday, February 10th. The city received no applications. So with that, staff is asking that that council authorize the full allocation of 100% towards the city CDBG allocation for ADA accessibility projects. A few years back, the city did an accessibility report on all the ADA deficiencies for City Hall and its facilities. It outlines a few things that we can still do, even though we finished our renovations recently. There are still some ADA things that we can improve upon. One example is the exterior door. There should be a button that utilizes and allows anyone for ADA to just push a button to open that front door. So we do want to utilize some of this funding towards it. So the allocation amount is roughly just a little under $22,000. So that should be more enough to cover a few projects on our accessibility report. So that concludes my report. I'm open for any questions.
Mr. Mayor? That report we did, has it been 4 years now?
Probably about 4 years, but in all honesty, it doesn't really change.
No, because we're just knocking things off.
Correct.
Little by little, right?
Yeah, it's not like any new ADA issue comes up. Everything's outlined in the report already.
So in the next 15, 20 years, we'll have that thing taken care of.
Pretty much, but a lot of it got taken care of during the renovations too as
renovation.
well, yeah.
That's good news. Thanks, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, testimony by proponents,
Mayor, we have none.
testimony by opponents,
We have none.
response by proponents.
We have none.
It is now 8 o'clock and this public hearing is closed. Is there any discussions that the council would like to participate in?
Just one, kind of, disheartening to hear no one applied. Didn't know, is it on our end, just, a simple public notice on a website, or was it the criterias of these nonprofits, and really none around here fit into that criteria? So interesting to see that we had 0, but I would be curious what age or what nonprofits would have been able to comply, if any.
Mike, your favorite topic?
In the past, we have had Helping Hands, or actually, they tried several years to try to participate. There was always an issue on their 501c3 status, but Hope was always one that always participated and was approved every year for their pantry program that they had. We've had 1 or 2 of other ones to try to participate, but there were issues with qualifying too, because the county does require qualification so that they meet the requirements of low income. So it's been pretty limited, but for the most part, Hope has really been benefiting from this program from us for many years.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can add something to that, with CDBG dollars, it basically comes from the HUD side. It is federally funded, and so there are very stringent requirements that must be met along those federal guidelines. So it's not like something where the city council would have general funds where you could maybe make a lower requirement. It is strict requirements that are adhered to by any individual organization, whether that's county or city, to follow under when dealing with the community development block grants or CDBG.
Okay, we need a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2025-12, authorizing the allocation of 2526 CDBG. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. City Clerk, can you conduct a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber?
Aye.
Councilmember Terry? Excuse me, Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Terry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
On to item number 8. It is 8:02 and the public hearing is now open. We have another presentation by Community Development Director Mike Borja.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is an introduction and first reading of ordinance number 251, an ordinance of the City of Canyon Lake amending and superseding ordinance number 182 to update participation in the Western Riverside County Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee Program, also known as TUMF, and adoption of a resolution adopting a TUMF fee schedule. So as a member of WRCOG, also known as Western Riverside County of Governments, WRCOG administers the Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee Program to ensure that any new development that occurs within the Western Riverside County pays their fair share, in essence, for increased traffic, to improve traffic needs. So basically, this fee is a fee that is collected by WRCOG, and its sole intention is to, for any new development, as we all know, it tends to increase traffic flow or traffic issues for those areas. So these fees go towards trying to improve those type of improvements, and a lot of it's done with basically with roadways and that sort of thing. So So just recently, WRCOG prepared a Nexus study in 2024. I think the previous one they did was in 2002, quite some time ago. And on September 9th of this past year, WRCOG Executive Committee reviewed the 24 Nexus study and recommended that TUMP participation districts like us update their fees by amending the applicable TUMP ordinance to reflect all the changes. So in the staff report, it actually lists out those fees that you can see there of all the changes that they are recommending. So staff is asking for council to move forward with the adoption of ordinance 251 that's going to basically supersede previous ordinance 182. That concludes my report. I'm open for any questions.
Council have any questions? Testimony of proponents?
Mayor, we have none.
Testimony of opponents?
We have none.
Response by proponents?
We have none.
It is now 8:05 and the public hearing is now closed. Any additional discussion on behalf of our council?
In my comments is that our area is growing rapidly and the traffic is cycles. When, we have bad traffic, then they do a little improvement, gets a little better. 3 years later, we now have this rebuild of bad traffic and they do a little improvement and then it gets a little better. But we're going to go through this cycle for another 20 years and we need funding for some of these projects. The TUMP assists with that and the TUMP fee goes on to the new developments. To the east of us, there's plans for a huge number of houses to go over on the other side of Menifee. So this traffic flow from the 15 to the 215 is going to get incredibly difficult. It's already difficult. Our Railroad Canyon is a very busy street. And in order to mitigate this traffic, we have to have some funding source. And unfortunately, there's no free money to get it done. And so it has to come from somewhere. And we are fortunate in this particular city that our development, for the most part, is 98% done. So it will not really affect our residents as a whole significantly. But what is affecting us is the traffic coming across our freeways and across the traffic flows across the 215 to 15.
Any other discussion? Need a motion and a second to introduce ordinance number 251 and adopt resolution number 2025-13, adopting the TUMP fee schedule. I move.
I'll second.
City Clerk, can we conduct a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber?
Aye.
Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Terry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, no business items. City manager comments.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. My first comment is that we have had a full launch on two important items. One is on the Alert Canyon Lake, and I believe, Chief, we were near 350, something like that. The count of how many people were there?
That is correct. That's on SMS text messaging, and we had a little bit lesser number on email as well.
So in the short time we've been up, 350 people have signed up for text messaging. Some are getting text messages and email, some only text messaging. But that launch is going well. It'd be great if anyone that is doing that could tell a friend. We'd like to be able to let everybody know what's going on. We recently had an accident there on Getz Road and Newport right before it becomes Railroad Canyon. We just sent out the alert letting people know. We happen to have the 15 closed off of there by Grape, the on-ramp that happened to be closed at that time. There was Eastern Municipal Water District doing some work over there and this accident. So it was impacted both eastbound and westbound, and those are important things that we want to get to the public as quick as we can, especially when they're heading out in the morning for a commute or taking the kids to school, so they know what they're going to encounter. That morning it would have been easier to walk to school by far than it would to drive them anywhere. Next thing is our city manager update. City manager update just went out. It was our first one. We're encouraging anyone to just send an email to CM Update. If there's something we're not including in there that you want to see from the city, we'd be happy to include it. We're kind of, this is going to be dynamic, and it's going to continue to build until we find our sweet spot of to where we're letting everybody know what's going on. You'll see that you'll see an update of what's going on in the upcoming council meeting, what the decisions by council were in the prior council meetings, what projects are going on in the city, anything along that line. We're going to move some of the public safety updates from the council meeting into there, so you have a more granular look if you look at our city manager email update. And then the last thing for me is council kind of touched on the morale and you know, kind of the retention that we have of the city. I really want to talk about why the council has so much to do with that. For those that don't know, my mother passed away on Friday. I get a little emotional here, but sent an email to the council just saying, hey, emergency travel. My mom's back in Indiana, mom and dad, and I was able to make it just to sign Mike Borja, the acting city manager, and got out of town. And I got nothing but condolences and concern from this council. And I've been in places where the text messages are you going to be back in time for the council meeting? And this is a council that did not care about that wanted to make sure that I and my family were okay, and that is who this city is, and it's the same for every employee across the board. So on behalf of me, my family, and city staff, I really just want to thank you for being humans first. It's an important part of why those of us that are here because we want to be here, and that we're very, very proud to be here. So thank you very much, Mayor.
We love you, Aaron Brown. Our next council meeting will be on April 9th, and today's meeting is adjourned.